right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410, Voice of the Valley, Talk of the Town. We're broadcasting live here from downtown Elgin, serving the Fox River Valley. Make sure you're careful out there. That snow is definitely starting to fall. It's getting a little bit thicker right now, too. We have definitely accumulated, I would say, almost, if not roughly half an inch or maybe even an inch by now too. So just make sure you're careful on the roadways out there too. No matter where you might be going, if you have to go to work, just make sure, of course, that you are aware just because of the snow that we do have falling today. Again, you're listening to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell here on youtube.com at WRMN Radio. Always keep up to date and in the loop with what's happening here in the Fox River Valley and what's going on here on WRMN. Now, of course, here, there, as we know, in today's age, sometimes we need a good laugh. There's a lot of divisiveness. There's a lot of, this side says this, that side says that. And sometimes you need to step away from it and you need to just have a good, clean laugh. And what is really cool here about the GreenRoom Theater located here in Elgin, they are a powerhouse in the community of improv comedy. They have a vision to push those boundaries and spark fresh, unexpected performances. They cultivate a space where, of course, creativity is definitely going to thrive, and it does thrive. They build dynamic collaborative teams to weaving stories in real time. Their leadership keeps the Greenroom Theater on the cutting edge of comedic innovation. So let's dive into the creative process here with Dave Hunter. Thank you so much, Creative Director Dave Hunter, for joining us live here in studio or calling through the phone lines here. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm definitely on the phone, not in studio.
Yeah.
So hopefully I sound good and okay.
Oh, yes, you sound great. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what gets you started. Well, even just tell us a little bit about GreenRoom Theater for those out there who might not know.
Yeah, so GreenRoom Theater and GreenRoom Improv actually started 25 years ago at Judson University in Elgin where I went to school, because when I got there as a freshman in college, I was considering being a theater major, and they actually canceled the entire theater program like that year. And so no shows, no major, no minor. And so a group of students that are very interested in theater got together and said, well, what if we just do our own shows? We don't need the school to sign up on them. Maybe we can just borrow the theater and find people who are interested and rehearse ourselves. So we started some student-run productions, and it kind of blew up on campus. And then we started getting hired in the community to go out and perform, and then we would travel to youth conferences and got hired locally, and basically we graduated and said, hey, let's just keep doing it. So we incorporated into a company and continued performing, and we did musicals and plays and improv shows every month, and eventually got rid of the full productions and said, let's just focus on the improv, and just made a hard beeline towards that. And now we perform at 2 theaters every month, at the Hemmons in Elgin on the first Friday of every month, and at the Row in Crystal Lake each month, and that's either a Friday or a Saturday, depending on the month. We actually performed this Saturday at the Row.
Very, very cool. Now, I have to say, too, I did go to Judson for my freshman year, and then I did graduate from ECC. And then I also have to say here, too, the school that I went to, the high school I went to was Westminster Christian School, and we have senior shows before. So you always do such a great job. We've had it where we did something called the Snow Show, which was kind of like a Sadie's Hawkins dance. But what we did was we would... I remember was one year, I think it was my sophomore year, we went to the Heritage Ballroom and we had a nice dinner, our school had a nice dinner, and you guys performed for us.
So I totally remember that.
Yep.
That was a while ago. You're really old now.
And so, yes, I do remember that very well. And you guys are very funny, too. Something that's also unique about you guys as well, too. Not only you're funny, you're also very clean as well, too. And you don't usually get to see that a whole lot when it comes to improv. So what kind of made you feel that this was important to kind of really have kind of be as a part of?
Mm-hmm. Well, Judson University is a Christian university, mm-hmm. So we started there, and most of us weren't really into the whole dirty comedy thing anyway. It just wasn't like who we were. And so we just continued to keep that clean sort of vibe, even as we graduated and included more people into the group. And we've found over the years that it's just much more, mostly more palatable, in particular for the suburban area, because then you can bring your kids, or you bring your teenage kids, or teenagers are interested and want to bring their friends. And it's just more accessible to a family in this area than maybe dirty or blue comedy can be. And, and not that we have like, we're not some enemies with the dirty stuff. It's just not who we are. And it's not how we do it.
Right. And I have to say, too, I think a lot of people, do you get sometimes people saying, well, is that really going to be funny because it's not, within that context? Because from what I've seen, your performances are always very hilarious, and they don't have to be dirty.
Well, yeah, we pride ourselves in being funny without being dirty and without having sort of like sexual content or anything like that, because then you actually have to be smart enough and clever enough to be funny without going that direction and without being sort of like shock humor or that kind of thing. And sometimes it's a more pure way of doing comedy if you can figure out how to be creative that way and be funny and fun for that matter too. Because the other thing about our shows, as you know, because you've seen them, is we have a high energy show. It's not like people standing around talking. Like there's a lot of energy, music, people on stage from the audience. The show moves pretty quickly along. And that's by design. Like, we want people to have fun, have a rush, laugh a lot, laugh with us, laugh at us, and laugh at themselves, because they're going to be pulled on stage as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was always something I was kind of like timid about, because I have also seen your shows before at the Hemmons. I think you did you do the performances in the basement, correct?
Yeah. They built, actually, years ago, we approached the Hemmons. I think this was maybe like 13 years ago or 14 years ago. That's how long we've been at the Hemmons particularly. We approached them and said, hey, we have an idea to do an improv show in the round where we're surrounded on all four sides by audience members. Would you guys be interested in bringing us and doing it on your main stage? And we bring chairs and risers all around the main stage and surround us, in the round. So we have like maybe 200 seats like that. And they said, we actually love the idea, but because the Elgin Symphony Orchestra performs, monthly, we can see that being a conflict if we want to have you guys every month. What if we built you a theater in the round downstairs in this exhibition hall area? We will install lighting, we'll install a sound system, we'll purchase some staging, and we will set it up and tear it down, each month. But the lighting and the sound system all is permanently installed there. So they actually created this space for our show many years ago, and they've continued to update it throughout the years with new lights or new sound, new microphones, that kind of thing. And it's very unique because at the Hemmons, it's fully in the round. We are surrounded on all four sides by audience members. So it's a very different improv experience than maybe another improv comedy show you've seen before. Where at the Row, it's more of a proscenium performance. But each show at the Row is a different show format than at the Hemmons. So if you see one of them and you like what you see, you should go see the other one, because it's a different show format, the way we do it, but it's still all improvised and it's still all made up on the spot, based on suggestions from the audience. Very
cool. Yeah, I definitely would love to partake in that and see that show for sure. Now, when it comes to improv, it's improv. Oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce it.
You can do it. You can do it.
Improvisation.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Good. Improvisation. So how do you prepare for that? Because it is improv. Do you have kind of like a little bit of I'm sure you have to have a foundation to it and then work with that.
Yeah, we get this question a fair amount, and the way I like to answer this is it's kind of like asking, how does a baseball team prepare for a game? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the game. You don't know if they're going to hit the ball or not, or where they're going to hit the ball, or what you're going to pitch. You're not really sure. But what you do is you practice specific techniques, like how to respond in the moment to something. How if we're playing this specific improv game, what are some things that make this game work, and how can we work through that? If we're doing like a guessing game, what are ways that we can act out something that you can understand how we're acting it out, or what is this, maybe a signal we could say, like, let's move on to a different clue or something. And so we kind of practice communicating with each other and practice different skills of memory or physicality or that kind of thing, so that whenever whatever happens, we have developed instincts and we can now use those instincts in the moment to, respond.
Well, I think it's great too, because doing improv leaves a lot of room for flexibility. If you're stumped and you're just kind of like, and then it literally is just, it's improv. So would you say there's even a means for being stumped because it is improvised?
Well, the thing is, improv comedy is a team sport. It's not like a stand-up person, like stand-up comedy, who's making up jokes on the spot. If there was a stand-up and I was alone on stage the whole time, it might be harder for me and easier for me to be stumped. But when you have another member on stage with you, or even a third, if you get stumped, then somebody else might not be stumped. So they can suggest something or put something in the ether that maybe now triggers something in me, and then now I can respond to that, where maybe before I was stumped. So it's kind of like we cover for each other up there, but when you put it all together, it looks like nobody ever gets stumped. Mm-hmm. But what's actually happening is we're covering for each other as a team and stepping up, right, and pulling creative ideas out of our heads that help unlock things for the other people.
Absolutely. One thing I really like, because I have seen the shows before, is it's almost, I can't remember specifically how many shows I've seen before, but it seems like every time there's always like maybe a couple times or where someone will like say something, and it's just like there's just erupted laughter, and from the team as well too, where everyone's laughing, and it's like you can't stop laughing. So I noticed that too. That's totally funny.
Well, one of the things we talk about backstage before the shows is if we are having fun as performers, and if we are laughing and enjoying the show, then the audience is more likely to enjoy the show. So if the audience sucks tonight, let's just perform for each other. Yep. And that's kind of how we approach it. If it's a lower audience, or if they're just like not feeling it because they're tired or whatever, or maybe even like they don't like improv, then we're like, all right, forget you. We're just going to do this ourselves and make ourselves laugh. Yep. And it definitely is infectious. You feel like you're watching a comedy troupe enjoy themselves, and it makes you enjoy it as well. In a similar way that on Saturday Night Live, if they start laughing or cracking, it's fun for you because, you see the humanity in that person rather than their performance.
Absolutely. I have to ask too, have you taken any inspiration from any other folks or famous people out there that do improv?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I can tell you this story. When I was in college, I went down to quickly answer the question, there's no celebrity that necessarily I've taken inspiration from, but I remember in college going down to Improv Olympic in Chicago. They do long-form improv, and it was my first time ever seeing long-form improv, and I remember them launching into whatever the game format that it was that they were playing, and I remember being, like, confused. Like, I don't know what's happening here, and I don't know what's the order of this, and they only got one suggestion from us, and they're going for, like, 30 minutes. And I remember in that moment sitting in this theater thinking, when we do shows, whenever we do an improv show, I don't want the audience to ever be confused. Mm-hmm. I want them to always understand, here's the game we're playing, here's how this works, and do an example of it so that they can enjoy what they're seeing, as opposed to it being this high, like, art form that is, like, not really accessible to the normal person. Right. And so we definitely approach our shows that way. If you've never seen improv before, you will enjoy our show. And if you've seen improv 30 times, you will enjoy our show because you will see it with a different set of eyes, than the regular person.
Absolutely. And I always enjoy the shows. You guys do such a fantastic job. You have such a strong crew and team that comes together and makes people laugh and make each other laugh too, which is fantastic. And we definitely need that in today's world. It always seems like there's a lot of divisiveness. This side says this, that side says that. A lot of fighting.
Totally. And we purposefully avoid political stuff. We avoid divisive subjects because we think, like, one of our missions as a group is to bring joy to people's lives in some, even if it's for a night, to forget your troubles, forget your stresses, forget your losses or whatever, and come and have fun and laugh for a little bit, and let us lighten your load. Let us bring a little bit of joy to you. Yep. And that's why we exist, and we believe that we were gifted in a certain way, and this is how we want to give our gifts back.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for coming on to the air with us here through the phone lines. I greatly appreciate it. I know our listeners do as well too. Now, before we let you go, tell us how people can find more information about Green Room Improv.
Yeah, greenroomimprov.com or Instagram, Green Room Improv, Facebook, Green Room Improv, everything, Green Room Improv.
There you go. All right. Awesome. Thanks again for joining us here today. And I know you're also going to be having coming up, it's the First Fridays Improv. Now, that's the first Fridays of the month.
Correct.
All
That's
right.
at the Hemmons in Elgin. It's the first Friday of every month. However, we're off in March, so there's a big dance recital, I think, that took over the whole building on the first Friday March show. But we do have a show this Saturday at the Row in Crystal Lake. So if people want to see us and are interested, come out this Saturday. The snow should be all cleaned up by then, and you can come see our show.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate you coming on the air with us. Thanks again, Dave.
You got it. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right. That was Dave Hunter coming onto the air with us here today from Green Room Theater. Thank you so much for taking the time to do so. And if you want to check out more information, visit their website, greenroomimprov.com. That's greenroomimprov.com. And as someone who has seen multiple shows before, it is definitely always a lot of fun to do so. And check out the next one here will be Saturday, February 15th. That is at the Row Show. You can get tickets online right now at greenroomimprov.com/tickets. Or it's actually under /contact us. And you can find those tickets there too. You can click to get them. And you can even do group ticket information there as well too. You can follow them also on Facebook and also on Instagram, Green Room Theater. So check them out there too. Always good, always fun for sure. Always lots of fun. Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410 here in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Looking to stay informed on the political issues that truly matter?